Good afternoon.
Yeah, blessings on you, Mr. Lynch.
How are you?
I'm truly blessed by the favor of the Lord. It's the first time I'm hearing this speech by Mr. Daniel. I read it in the paper, email, for me. I am saying publicly, Mr. Daniel is really dishonest. When he said that we went to the meeting and we had a meeting.
You were at that meeting?
Yes, I was at that meeting. And there were 8 recommendations that did come out of that meeting. But what we were saying is that even though we will be going to meetings and nothing was happening, and we wanted to show the Ministry of Agriculture that we as farmers, we are dissatisfied. We are not just we are not just farmers who will sit back and just accept everything. Because this has been happening. Everything has been pushed on farmers. Farmers have been suffering over the years. And the ministry and the government in a whole seems to believe that all is well with farmers. And we know it is not so. So we decided that we were going to picket. This picketing didn't come from, I heard him call Mr. Bowman's name. This picketing that we went on Friday, the fourth Friday, this actually came from persons in Park Hill. I was not home that day. A gentleman came and met my mother and told her that they were going to have this picketing, and if they know that I'm one of the persons who usually talk about the banana industry, and they come to invite me to the meeting. I went, Miss Williams and Miss Carroll. When we went to the meeting, we were satisfied that farmers were really up in arms. Although we knew that before, but these were farmers from Park Hill and South Rivers. We knew that this had nothing to do with politics. Some of them came in their ULP jerseys, and they were telling you plainly that they voted for the comrade, and it is so unfair to them now that they have been suffering since 2009, and it's only promises and promises. Mr. Bowman came from the invitation of 2 of the gentlemen that were there. And I know that Mr. Daniel is very, very, very dishonest. And I just always, every time I pray, I just pray for him. But I know in God's own time, he's going to do something. Because God sees and he knows the hearts of everybody. I want to go back to that meeting that we had with them. We had a stakeholders meeting on the 22nd of September. And they were saying to us that the oil for the spraying of the plane should have been here on the 14th. You know that story? And it would be here on the 26th. We were saying it's not just about the oil. It's about the income support that was promised. It's about farmers getting compensation for all those bananas that would have been lost since 2009. And they were of the view that they were going to just give the 2 sacks of fertilizer. I'm saying it publicly here now. I have it on tape. Where Mr. Bowman was saying, what can he do with 2 sacks of fertilizer? And we said one of the recommendations was to give more than 2 sacks because the recommended dose is 4 sacks per acre. And they agreed.
4 sacks per acre recommended?
4 sacks per acre is
and they want to give you 2 sacks for your field?
As a matter of fact, they have already given 2 sacks. I'll come to all of that. And they agreed that they would not give one-time thing. They would give more than 1 time because they were saying that they would give 1 time. And people were that is not enough. And we were saying that we are not sure if the oil would come on the 26th. And rightly so, it did not come the day when they said it was coming. Because they said that the plane would have been in the air on the 27th. And
27th of what month?
Of September.
Okay.
And the plane never went up until the 28th. And then the spraying now. Because the bananas have cut down and the bananas are just short bananas in most of the areas. The effect of the oil is not good.
I mean, right now?
No, because it is not reaching where it's supposed to reach. You know, when the bananas are tall, the oil, when the plane spray, it will reach all the plants. But because they are flat, it's suckers that are just springing up back. The oil cannot reach because all of the big trees and so that are up there are shading the...
They would catch all the oil.
Exactly.
And the little one below them wouldn't get.
They're not getting.
I see what I mean.
I'm not saying that it is happening in all areas, but I know...
A lot of areas.
In a lot of areas.
And persons are speaking about that.
And then again, to come back to Mr. Daniel knew that when that poster, he came out and he saw us. He came and he went around to everybody that was on the line. And he knew that poster that was there was speaking about him as Minister
of Agriculture. Must go.
Not as a Carib, not as a Gary.
And it didn't mean he must get out the country.
Get out the country or anything like that.
I see. So he spin it to that now.
Exactly. And then what I'm saying now, Mr. Daniel doesn't even know who he is. Because one time you hear him saying he's a Carib, the next time you hear him saying he's Garifuna. Who is Mr. Montgomery?
Next time he's a black man.
You know? And he is dishonest and God sees his heart. And that is why when things happen, people just say, somebody does wrong and say so be and whatever. But it's when you do the wrong things would follow you. And Mr. Daniel knows in his heart he has failed. He has not only failed in bananas, he has failed in fisheries, he has failed in arrowroot, he has failed in cassava, he has failed in plantains, he has failed in potatoes, all the crops, livestock, everything. As a minister, he has failed. And that is what we are saying. The cabinet needs to reshuffle, and I would put some of the blame on the Prime Minister, because he knows that Mr. Daniel is not doing a good job. I went to another meeting with them sometime early up in the year when we were dealing with Windfresh, and Mr. Daniel doesn't even know what is happening.
But isn't he the chairman of Windfresh? He's the chairman?
Yes. He is representing Windfresh. He's not representing the farmers.
And what is Windfresh?
Windfresh is the purchase, the company that buys the banana.
The company that buy the banana that we ship to England.
Yes.
And Gomery is the chairman of that company.
That company. And it used to be with Deco, but now it's Windfresh.
Okay.
You know, and I am so disappointed. But you know, Mr. Lynch, I said I was not going to call again, you know, because I find the farmers, we are not united.